Hello, plant friends. So in this episode, we're going to talk about buying plants on Facebook. And I'm also going to share with you guys my tips and tricks, as well as my favorite and highly recommended plant sellers on Facebook. So let's start off with a plant seller recommendation. The first plant seller I'm going to recommend is Ryan. I bought plants from him before. He was featured and mentioned in several of my past videos. Overall, amazing guy. He specializes, I think, in the Aglaonema pictum tricolor. For those of you guys who are really interested in that, that's a super hot plant right now. I think he does like mostly small terrarium plants. A lot of the plants he sells, like I don't see anyone else selling. He sells a very selective niche of plants that it's really hard to find anywhere else online or on Etsy or on eBay or basically anywhere else. So a lot of his plants do require high humidity. I think they're really good for terrariums. So if you guys are into that and looking for unique plants, definitely check him out. He is a moderator for a rare plant auction group. So yeah, like I said, really well known in the plant community. So if you haven't heard of Ryan, then you may benefit from my first buying tip. So my first buying tip is wait a bit. Okay. Okay. So if we're talking about Facebook and Instagram, we're talking about social media platforms. These are different from eBay and Etsy. So eBay and Etsy are buying and selling platforms, right? They are made for you to sort of like buy and sell stuff. So as a buyer, you're like, okay, I want a plant. So you check on eBay, you check on Etsy. Very easy. The plants are all sort of like listed and displayed. They have their descriptions. As for the seller, right, all sellers have some sort of review, right? Stars or number of reviews, right? And you can like sort of like look at that. On Facebook, the buying process is not as clear cut, right? You don't have the reviews. All the plants sort of just like they're not listed, right, unless the seller advertises them, right? So it's not as clear cut. So it's not as easy on Facebook or Instagram to determine who's a good seller, who's a reliable seller. So my advice is sort of wait, right? Just wait a week or wait 2 weeks. Interact, read the forums, read the Facebook groups, the messages, the posts, right? See who's active, see who has a good reputation, see who's selling a lot, right? So I think that, on social media, you sort of have to wait a bit. Give it some time for you to be a little bit more aware and immersed in the plant community on Facebook or on Instagram before you can make your purchase or before you should make your purchase. Don't worry, guys. In this year, there's tons and tons of plant sellers. There's no need for you to just like rush into it. Okay, there's plenty of plant sellers, plenty of plants out there. Okay, so that's my tip, guys. Just wait a little bit. The plants aren't going anywhere. The sellers aren't going anywhere. Just wait a little bit. Know the community more. Look who's interacting a lot. Look who's having good, putting up valuable posts or insightful comments. Right? Those are the sellers that you guys should be gravitating to. Or at least those are the sellers that I recommend you guys gravitate to. All right, the next plant seller that I am going to recommend is Chloe.
Hi guys! I'm Monstera Maven. I'm a rare aroid collector based in Austin, Texas. I specialize in Anthurium, Monstera, Philodendron, and much more. So kindly give me a message on Instagram to see how I can help you with any of your rare plant needs today, okay? Bye!
For those of you guys who don't know Chloe already, she is... her knowledge of plants is ridiculous. Her collection of plants is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, if I had any plant questions regarding basically anything, plant care, plant identification, plant selection, basically anything, she would be one of my go-to people. I assure you guys, she has an absolutely amazing collection, several tiers above my own. And again, her plant knowledge just absolutely insane. Okay, so talking about Chloe brings me to my next buying tip. Okay, and this tip is buy from collector sellers. Support people who are collecting plants as well as selling plants. I feel like it means that the plants are coming, from a better place. They're more likely to be aware of the root situation. They're more likely, the plants are sort of more likely to be in better condition because they know how to like water and humidify and fertilize or whatever and everything else that's involved in plant care. So I think that the plants are usually coming from a better place, and they get to you in better condition. Okay, so that's, I think that's really, really important to me. And I think it's also really important because a lot of these collector sellers they're small business, right? The selling plants is sort of an extension of their passion and their hobby. So I think they're definitely worth the support of your business. Okay, so my next recommendations are Megan and Chelsea. So Megan and Chelsea are really, really close friends. First, I'm going to show some plants or some clips of the plants that Megan sent me, and she was, gracious enough to take these clips of her plants during a big move. And then I know that Chelsea has also recently moved, and she's trying to, decorate and establish her plant collection and her plant decor more. They're both really close friends in real life as well as online. You'll see them, they're always active on the forums. They're always posting and commenting and, giving good insights and suggestion and advice. I know that Megan maybe she's taking a little break. Hopefully she's going to be a little bit more active again by the time this episode comes out. And I think that Chelsea is going to start her website or working on a website. So, that's going to be exciting when that launches. Okay, so talking about Chelsea and Megan brings me to my next buying tip. And that tip is don't be a jerk face. Okay? Be nice, be kind, be patient, be welcoming, be positive. All right, so Facebook, Instagram as well, they are social platforms, right? People are on there to meet other people, to develop relationships, to make friends, to make planty friends. Regardless of all the bad things or negative things that can happen during a buying selling transaction or a shipping transaction. It's going to help you way more in the long run to be nice. Okay, so I think if you're asking like, how do we make more friends in the plant community? Like, how do I know more people in my community? How do I get the best deals, right, on plants? How do I find like rare plants that no one else can get, right? A lot of this has to do with how nice you are, how involved you are in the plant community. There's a lot that's dependent on who you know and how they perceive you, right? So again, you're going to get way further ahead from being nice, right? And being like forgiving and being understanding and being patient in the long run than you would be just like being a jerk. Okay. I'm not saying like, take a loss. I'm not saying, accept, bad, shipping conditions. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that when the opportunity presents itself, and there's plenty of opportunities, try to take the nice opportunity, right? Choose to be nice and welcoming and warm instead of whereas you can in the same situation be mean or be hateful. My next seller recommendation is Alexandra. I absolutely adore Alex. We were roommates when we went to the International Aroid Society show in last year in 2019. I think I've watched her go from like 0 to like infinity in terms of the plant passion and plant hobby. I know that she has quite the plant setup now and quite the robust plant collection. So, absolutely wonderful person. I mean, she has, again, such an amazing energy and passion for plants. So I know that this year she is trying to sell more of her, the stuff that she already has in her greenhouse. So definitely support her. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of Alex brings me to my next tip. My next tip is always ask and consult your friends. Whether you're new to this hobby or a super experienced buyer, seller, collector, or hobbyist, it's always good to have a second opinion. Okay, whenever I'm buying something, I'm always like, asking around. I'm asking my friends, like, is this a good buy or something? What are the relative prices, right? I have a lot of seller friends, and I ask them like, what's what's this plant going for these days? If you're new to the hobby, you might ask your friends like, is this a good value? How do you think, what do you think about the roots? What do you think about the structure? What do you think about the leaf condition? Is this plant going to cause me trouble? Once it arrives, ask your friends about, what you're buying as well as who you're buying from. I think that the plant community on social media is a relatively small one. So, word gets around, reputation gets around. So, ask your friends about, seller recommendations or their previous experiences with, certain sellers in case, you're not aware or familiar with them. Okay, so another thing I want to say is that in regards to, plant selection, I think there is some responsibility that the buyer, right, that you or me as the buyer takes when we're buying plants. And I think that means that, if you're buying a plant that is in poor condition or is a rehab and is advertised as such, and the price is reflective of such, then you should expect that, there will be certain problems or issues when the plant arrives, right? I think that, when plants are advertised to be sort of like a little problematic, or you're buying like a cutting, for example, you should be aware that comes with certain difficulties that you may encounter, and that there is some responsibility that you take or I take or anyone takes when we decide to buy that plant. This also reaffirms my tip that, again, when you're thinking about buying plants, especially as a cutting or especially as a rehab, and you don't have that much experience with cuttings or rehabs or any of that, or whatever it is, it's always good to consult your friends and ask people with a little bit more experience than you in that regard. Okay, so I do it all the time. I think even the most expert people I know, consult their experts. So there's really no shame in it. There's no embarrassment in it. We all do it. All right, my next recommendation is Arij. She sent us a lot of footage, so I'm just going to show the footage. She's amazing. I mean, I don't think that's that much for me to say that isn't obvious in this clip. She has tons and tons of plants. She has a website. She's very, very active on Facebook and the Facebook groups.
Hello, this is Arij from Botanica, United States. Thank you for watching. I'm here to show you my plants. Right now we are in my garage. Unfortunately, 3 months out of the year I have to bring my stuff in. I'm in Florida, but I am in Northwest Florida, and it does get cold here, and therefore I decided to make this little greenhouse in the garage and bring my stuff in for 3 months just to protect them and keep them happy, and then the rest of the year they go out and have fun, and later I'll take you on a tour in my backyard and I'll show you where usually my business takes place. This is my main greenhouse, and right now, as you can see, it doesn't have much in it except the stuff that tolerates the cold weather. The majority of the stuff I had to move inside. Also, on the side here is my fun station, workstation, with all my tools, my pots, all the fun and good stuff. And right here, as you can see, I'm right by the water. I get a lot of nice humidity all year round. And that's it. That's the rest of my backyard. And thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay, so my last seller recommendation is Monica. So, I think we all have that plant friend who sort of has like a bigger collection than us, but sort of like all the plants are sort of the same tier. In regards to rarity or price or whatever you consider a tier as us, right? And then we have that plant friend who has, a higher tier collection, right? Like the plants are rarer or more expensive or harder to find, right? They're like a notch above us in terms of collection quality, if you will. And then like Monica's like up here, where she has like tons and tons of plants, and they're all absolutely amazing. Or you can actually say that like she has tons and tons of these super, super rare and expensive and hard to find plants, right? She has like tons of them, and each specimen she has tons of, right? It's like her, and on top of that, all her plants are just in ridiculously amazing condition. I mean, it boggles my mind. It's absolutely crazy. That's pretty much my summary of Monica. Amazing selection of super, super rare, super hard to find plants that are just in absolutely immaculate condition. So if you are looking for you know, a plant no one else has, or a plant that's super, super hard to find, you know, reach out to Monica if she's selling them. You know, like I said, the plants are just like, yeah, they're just an amazing, amazing condition. So basically anything she owns, anything she sells, it just like absolutely just like top notch, top of the line. Okay, guys. So yeah, if that's what you're looking for, and I know that a lot of you guys who are watching this channel is looking for, you know, the unicorn plants, the super, super rare plants, definitely, you know, reach out to Monica. I mean, yeah, if I were looking something for anything like absolutely ridiculous, Monica would probably be my best bet, because she probably has like 5 or 10. Okay, so talking about Monica, this brings out my last tip. Okay, and my last tip is consider where the plant that you're buying is coming from. Right? Where is Monica's plants, or where are Monica's plants coming from? They're coming from her backyard, right? They're coming from her greenhouse, right? So if you're in the US, right, and you're buying a plant from Monica, you know that your plant is as acclimated as it could be, right? You know that your plant is not an import that, you know, is trying to like survive or bounce back from being imported here from, you know, Asia or South America or anywhere, right? You know that plant has been in her greenhouse probably since infancy, right? She's like grown that plant so you know that the plant is in a good place. Okay, so when you guys are buying plants from anyone, ask where that plant is coming from. And again, this brings me back to my point of like buy from collector sellers. A lot of those plants are, you know, they've been in greenhouses for a long time. They've been in their personal collection for a while. Definitely ask where your plant is coming from. If your plant is coming from, you know, your own country, much better chance that plant is going to have a smoother transition through shipping and into your home environment. Okay, that's just a personal tip. Obviously, there are people and sellers who are selling imports, and hopefully the prices do reflect that. Some of us are more comfortable and more familiar with trying to rehab plants, trying to acclimate plants that are a little stressed. So just know that if that's, you know, what you're looking for, that's perfectly fine. I hope that the price reflects that is an import, or that it is struggling, or that it's a rehab. But if you're looking for plants, you know, hoping for a smoother transition after shipping and into your home environment, your best bet are domestic plants. Your best bets are, you know, plants that have just been hanging out in people's or in collectors' greenhouses and now coming to you after purchase. Okay, so yeah, that's that tip. All right, guys, so that's it for this episode. I hope you guys found the buying tips useful. I hope you guys found the seller recommendations useful. Okay, I think that wraps it up. So till next time, happy planting.